Look, I know there are clinic owners who are spending thousands of dollars on ads. They're getting traffic, but no conversions. And if you are one of those clinic owners who are just frustrated with marketing agencies because you haven't received any results or insignificant results like bad lead qualities, this video is going to be for you because as a clinic owner, you are definitely a business owner. And part of business is marketing and sales. And this is why I create these videos to educate clinic owners on the different things that go into patient acquisition. It's not just about the inquiries, it's also about turning those inquiries into patients. One of the biggest issues when you hire a marketing company is they bring you these leads, but sometimes these leads are not the best quality. So what we're going to go through today is understanding how you're going to be able to bring in quality leads. The biggest problem is if you are paying for advertising and you're sending your traffic to your website, that right there is the leak in the bucket. So today I'm actually going to tell you how these high performing clinics break down their funnel. By the end of the video, you'll get an understanding as to why your current blueprint isn't working. First and foremost, I really want to highlight the difference between what a website is and what a funnel is, because I think this is where these words get used interchangeably and it makes it hard to make a business decision if you don't know exactly what you should be tracking and what you should be using in your marketing assets. Your website is like an informational brochure, right? It talks about your services, it has a blog, it talks about your team, how to contact you, your processes, things like that, right? It's a general brochure of your business. A funnel, on the other hand, is something that is very targeted to one specific service or outcome. When you understand the difference between these two, your communication becomes easier and the quality of your leads go up and the conversion rate of those leads increases as well. All because you frame the messaging and what they resonated with in order to submit an inquiry to continue to work with you. When you're running ads and you're paying for these ads, the people who click on these ads aren't in browse around mode. They're there because they want to see what their friends are up to, maybe get a couple of laughs here and there. But when your ad pops up and it piques their interest, they do not want to go to a 17-page website where they have multiple different options. They want to go to a page where they figure out why they clicked on that ad. When you offer a lot of decisions to these people who are just there for one specific reason, being your website, it causes analysis paralysis. And in this context, when there's so many options out there, you want to eliminate that. They saw an ad that they got interested in, and then they went to a landing page that gave them more information on the specificity of that ad. A funnel has one job, one path, and one action. Think of it this way. Your website is like a museum. People can go in there, they can just wander around, look at the different things that you have. There's no real path for them to follow, essentially. A funnel is like a guided tour. You control what they see, what they read, and what their next steps are. So rule number one, stop sending your traffic to the homepage. Use a dedicated landing page to increase conversions and also get higher quality leads. I'm going to show you some examples of landing pages that have been converting very well for all of our clients. All right, so here is the hero section, the first thing that people see. In this hero section, you have 5 seconds to communicate what you do, who you do it for, and what is the next step. What we have here in this landing page is essentially talking to parents. So this is a campaign that we're running to parents who have kids with ADHD. And we're solving one problem. We're saying, help your child focus, calm down, and thrive without medication. Notice how we didn't say anything about neurofeedback because we're addressing the problem outright. And then you also want to have trust badges on there, recognized by the American Academy of Pediatrics as the level 1 best support treatment for ADHD. When people are scanning through this section, they should get a comprehensive, high-level understanding of what it is that they're in for. Having social proof on the page increases the credibility of not just your clinic, but also the service itself. And with a whole bunch of different services getting promoted, it's important to build trust in that first 5 seconds. Once you have the structure of the hero section, you want to make sure that it's very well designed. I've seen poorly designed websites do really well too, but that's just an extra step we want to take especially when we're communicating with a newer audience. So the next section is the solution section. Here, we don't want to just list our treatments in isolation. We want to tie it back to the outcome. This is a campaign that we are working with for a client where they're providing GLP-1 support and MERT, which is an offshoot of TMS. The campaign is lose the weight and keep it off, right? So the GLP-1 medication helps them with reducing overall body fat and improve body composition, right? And then the MERT helps them with retraining their brain in order to reduce those cravings and have motivation to continue to keep going. So it's a brain body solution. So what we've done here is we've talked about how this medication helps your body regulate appetite signals and insulin response, supporting safe, gradual fat reduction under medical supervision. That's something that they want. The other thing is MERT helps to manage focus, motivation, and reward, making it easier to follow through on healthy habits. Notice how we didn't get into any of the technicalities of what the solution is, because frankly, people do not care. That's just what it is. People do not care about how advanced your treatment is. They only care about how effective it is. So this is what you want to put in your solution section, tying these benefits to the actual outcome, because it gives them an idea of how this treatment is able to move them into the person they want to be. One thing we'll talk about a little later on is the call to action buttons. Contact us and submit are not really the best ones to have in this case. The ones that we found work really well are book a discovery call or book your free assessment. These two are very low risk for them. They understand what the next step is, and it's easier for them to get a full picture of what their transformation is going to look like. Then we have another section, problem and empathy sections. You've already validated what they're thinking. They're looking for help and don't know how to find it. If you make this crystal clear and say outright that you understand what they're going through, you win right off the bat, because essentially you're reading their mind and providing a solution. This is for a ketamine clinic. What we talk about is, hey, maybe you've tried talk therapy in the past, but if it hasn't worked, there is an alternative solution. For some clients, trauma is deeply rooted in the nervous system and doesn't always shift through talk therapy alone. And that's why here at Ottawa, we offer psychedelic assisted therapy, a safe short-term approach where prescribed medication is used alongside psychotherapy to support emotional openness and deeper healing. You have to relate with people on your landing page and ads because you have to meet them where they're at. If you try to just sell someone a transformation, they need to understand what goes into that transformation for the service to stick. Because if they don't, it just becomes a vague idea. For example, everyone would love to have $1 million, right? But if people don't know how to get $1 million, that idea just remains an idea. What we're trying to do is guide them through the process. So in order to achieve the $1 million, you have to maybe start a business and then scale that business, learn leadership skills. And this is why business coaches do well, because they guide people through that process of becoming a successful business owner. And that's exactly what you have to do with any problem or treatment that you're offering to solve that problem. So up until this point, we have talked about what the hero section should be. It should give them a quick overview of what it is that you're offering. Then we talk about the solution, tying the benefits to the outcome. And we have a problem and empathy section where we've connected with them and told them this is exactly what you're looking for if you want a transformative experience in your life. The next part is the process section. The process section is important because it eliminates the fear of the unknown. If you can give them the exact steps, what goes into becoming a millionaire, and give them that guidance, they're more likely to stick with it because it's becoming a very clear path for them to move forward with. So what we want to keep in mind when we're doing this process section is just give them very high level details of what each stage looks like. Most of the time, you should be able to condense it into 3 steps. But if you need 4 or 5, that's totally fine too. But you should be explaining in very layman terms on why each of these steps are important to achieve that transformation. This section allows us to make that whole journey more manageable and feel a little bit safer and less overwhelming. Now they know what you do, how you help them. They know what your solution is. They know what the process looks like. But do they really trust it? That's where we hit them with the strategic social proof placement. All this is making sense to them, but is this really real? This is what the social proof does. So here you want to have testimonials. Video testimonials are golden, but written ones are fine too. It allows them to feel like other people have gone through this. And because of that, it's something they can go through as well. Testimonials like wonderful clinic, highly recommend, they're not as great as someone who took up the treatment, said, hey, after this treatment, I was able to sleep longer. I was able to sleep better. I feel more energetic. I'm having better conversations, because that is more energetically resonant than just the generic, this clinic is great. I highly recommend. If you can entice people to leave a detailed review of how it was transformative for them, it's going to be very easy for you to start getting more people like that. Now, if you don't have social proof and you're just building this out, you could talk about how many patients that you've been able to help, how many certifications or what certifications you as a clinic owner or the practitioners have. This is to build that trust factor. You can also talk about some research papers or reputable studies that have been done and the industry recognition for the treatment. If it's an advanced treatment, you could talk about, it received an award for best new treatment in 2025, for example. What you're doing in this section is making them feel comfortable about this treatment that you're offering. And the more you make them feel comfortable before they inquire, the more likely they are not to just have that consultation with you, but also move through in that process. So this is how you're going to get people in through the door. Submit an inquiry to your clinic, right? Now, where most clinics lose these interested inquiries is they have a really weak follow-up process. So with the technology available, you can actually automate a lot of this stuff. Granted that if you are selling a high ticket treatment, such as TMS, ketamine, neurofeedback, Almated, any of those high ticket treatments, you definitely want to have a good front desk person who's knowledgeable about the service and also has really good emotional intelligence, because those two things go hand in hand to make people feel comfortable, but also give them the necessary information about this treatment. But some things that you can definitely add on to it is a confirmation message, like a text message that you can send out after they inquire saying, thank you so much for booking an inquiry with us. If you have a booking calendar that you're able to book them in for, just send that link in that SMS, and it can go something like, hey, thank you so much for inquiring with XYZ Clinic. The next step would be to book a free consultation call with us. You can use this link below, or someone from our team will reach out to you within 24 hours. That way they have understood that you have acknowledged their inquiry. Now, if they don't pick up their call, if the front desk calls them, or if they don't end up booking a call, you want to have a follow-up sequence, right? And this, again, could be automated. We use a tool called Go High Level, which is a really good tool, especially for front-end operations, that allows you to keep track of all the different areas where patients are. It also allows you to build these automations out. You don't want to be pushy, but you want to stay in front of them. One overarching principle that I want to highlight is talk with clarity, not creativity. See, most of the times your patients are stressed, they're in pain, they're overwhelmed, they're anxious. So if you can clear all that fluff and just get straight to the point, it's going to make it very easy for them to understand. And again, when they see your ad and they click on something interesting and they go to a landing page and they have to figure out what the landing page is trying to say, they're gone. They don't have that attention span anymore. People want answers. They don't want puzzles. Once you can optimize your messaging for your ads and your landing page, your sales process becomes seamless as well. So remember that 5-second test we talked about in the hero section? Whenever you're creating this landing page, you want to make sure within 5 seconds of landing on that page, you are clear on what you do, who you help, and what they should be doing next. You can ask your friend, your spouse, a colleague about if this is making sense. And if it's not, cut the crap, rewrite it. When you have one ad that leads to one landing page and those two things are very cohesive, these are the types of things that move the needle. These are the things that are going to increase your lead quality, convert those leads into more patients, and make that whole process for your clinic and the end user very easy. If you love content like this, please hit that like and subscribe button, because I cover content that helps clinic owners understand patient acquisition systems that allow them to seamlessly get more clients. I will see you on the next one.